Hey, hey, how's it going? The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Isn't that a beautiful copy? I saw this in Waterstones and liked it, didn't buy it. And then recently I was in a local bookshop here on Arran, the book and card shop in Brodick, and I saw a different copy of it and almost bought it for my daughter for her birthday, which is coming up soon. And came home and told my wife about it, and she said, well, why don't you get a nice copy? And I was like, yeah, I remember seeing a nice copy. So I ended up getting this one. And then you might not know this if you haven't been on my channel for long, but I don't like to give gifts of books that I haven't read myself. So, of course, I had to read it. I had to read it fast because I'm shipping it out to her probably tomorrow for her birthday. So I read it fast. I read it in a day, and I think it lends itself well to a fast read. It's quite a fast story, and we follow the main character, Esther Greenwood, who's a young woman on the East Coast of America who finds herself in New York at the beginning of the book, having won a competition. And she's there with 11 other girls. And they're there to sample some of the high life. They're all student types, and Esther herself has a scholarship to a prestigious school. And while she's there, she's doing an internship for a fashion magazine. And they're being wined and dined and taken out to different fashion shoots, and they're like influencers, basically, current day influencers. You know, they're getting lots of products from companies, and so it's an interesting time for her, an exciting time for her, coming from the provinces into New York City. But it starts to spiral. She has a hard time with her mental health, and she spirals down into the darkness. So I won't say any more than that about the plot. And in terms of plot, it's more character development really than plot. It's about that character's spiral down and what happens to her and some of her friends as well. So yeah, depression. It's a difficult topic to cover. Now I'm led to believe that this is semi-autobiographical. I know of Sylvia Plath from her poetry. I do have Ariel, and this has inspired me to look it out again, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to read some of her poems again now that I have a bit more of an insight into her life. That should make it more, I don't know, more something. So I'm going to do that, but yeah, Sylvia Plath. Is it a spoiler to know how her life ended? This is something that came up in this written review that I did here in my notebook, so I'm curious, knowing as I do. If you don't want to know, stop the video now, because this is a spoiler. Right, so those that are still here, you know, or you want to know. Sylvia Plath took her own life. That's all I know. I don't know what age she was, any of the details of it. But I know that she did. And knowing that going into this book colours the way that I read the book. In the same way that knowing Russian colours the way that I read A Clockwork Orange. And I say that because I'll never know what it's like to read A Clockwork Orange without knowing Russian. Because I'll never not know Russian. And I'll never know what it's like to read The Bell Jar without knowing that the author took her own life. There is some suicide in the book, so I won't say who or how. That's a trigger warning, I suppose. Mental health, being what it is a topic that is always kind of there. And so, yeah, as I say, I don't know whether that would have coloured my enjoyment of the book or not. The prose is beautiful. It's very American, and it reminded me a bit of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I read last year, with the obvious connection that mental health is the kind of main theme of the story. That's all I'll say about that. But the writing style as well also did remind me a little bit of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I suppose there's a reason why both of these books are considered modern classics. So I take that on board, that they are classics for a reason. So I've got a couple of passages which I wrote down in my notebook, so I'll just read these out to you, give you an idea of the prose. As I stared down at Constantine the way you stare down at a bright, unattainable pebble at the bottom of a deep well. Nice, huh? A dispassionate white sun shone at the summit of the sky. I wanted to hone myself on it till I grew saintly and thin and essential as the blade of a knife. Every time I tried to concentrate, my mind glided off, like a skater, into a large empty space and pirouetted there, absently. So, yeah, I've written here, I wouldn't say that I enjoyed the novel. That's like clicking the like button on a bad news post, if that makes sense. You know, when maybe someone's died and there's a post on Facebook and you think, oh, I don't want to click the like button for that. So, yeah, they did add a hugs button, didn't they? Or a care button. I don't know what it's called. So, yeah, I'm going to send it down to my daughter. I'm a little bit reluctant to do it because of the subject matter. It's quite dark. And how does a 21-year-old girl deal with a novel like that? I don't know. Is it something I would have been grateful for at that age? I don't know. But I'm going to send it nevertheless. It's a well-written book. It's a classic. It leads to poetry, if that's your thing. And it's well illustrated as well by Bia Rebai. So this one has illustrations throughout, which I enjoyed. You know, I like a nice hardback book with nice illustrations. There we go. That's a short review of The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Will I include this in my monthly wrap, or will I just put this out as a standalone? You'll know, because you're watching it. As yet, I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching. If you've read it, by the way, let me know if you like it. And also, I mean, it'll be too late by the time you see it, so don't let me know if you think it's a good idea to send it to a 21-year-old daughter, because I will have already done it by the time you watch this. But yeah, if you tell me not to, it'll be too late.